Did you ever find yourself in the position where you're working on a small project where you have to meet with your team? So, say, for example, maybe you're a manager or a department head and you have to meet with the various managers to discuss budgeting. So, this would be like a small period of time, a snapshot in time, such as maybe 3 weeks over the month of September, and you would dedicate your times, for example, maybe 2 hours a day, twice a week. So you would provide various appointment slots and decide how long those appointments should be, and then maybe create a link and send it out to the staff so they can self-manage a mutually agreeable time that would work for you to have an appointment to discuss the budget. So there is a way to do this, and I'd like to just give you a mini introduction on how to use Bookings right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our way to the internet. So in the internet, I'm going to type office.com, and I'm going to go ahead and pick work or school account and my password. And once that's approved, you'll be right in. So this is the web-based version of my license for Microsoft Office. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking for an app called Bookings. So when I click down here, I don't see it. So what I'm going to do is click on what is called the App Launcher or the Waffle. And I'm going to go ahead and click on All Apps. Now I can see Bookings here, but since it'll be your first time, let's click on All Apps and let's search for Booking. And they'll find the Bookings app, and we'll just go ahead and open that up. Okay, so I was using this tool earlier for another calendar, so we'll just disregard that. So one thing you should know is that there's actually two versions of Bookings. It's sort of a new version and an old version, so you can toggle between the two. And the interesting thing I found is I was actually able to do certain things in one and other things in the other. So I actually was going back and forth between both, and that was not causing me any issue whatsoever. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a new calendar. So you'll see that I am in the new version. Create new calendar. Now remember, this calendar is only specifically for that purpose of booking an appointment to discuss budget. So I am going to create from scratch. You can see I have some other training ones here. And I'm just simply going to date it today's date and name it appropriately. So these business hours would be the time that the business would be appropriate and available for those appointments. So I could actually make a change here, knowing that I'm only going to be dedicating the afternoon. So we can start with that. We're still going to have to finesse it a bit. So for the simplistic approach for this training, I was thinking that maybe we would make ourselves available on Thursdays and Fridays. So I'm going to deselect these. And just to get started, I'm going to say that we are not going to be available until 1 o'clock on those 2 days, and 1 o'clock till 4 o'clock, and we'll leave it at that. So let's go ahead and click Next. Okay, so again, this is being sensitive to the fact that my previous calendar did have this person as the administrator. So I'm just going to uncheck that and make myself the administrator. And of course, you may decide to make your admin the administrator or what have you, but we'll leave it at that. So set up a service. This is the part that's very different from our regular calendar. So if you would just for a moment think that if you had a wellness spa, there would be different types of services that may be offered. For example, you might meet with a chiropractor, physiotherapist, massage therapist, what have you. So if you take that sort of thought process and you think that the service you're going to offer is actually going to be to consult regarding budget. So you're really only going to offer one service in this simple example that we have. But right now we want to think about how long do we think that meeting might be. I'm actually thinking that 30 minutes probably would be appropriate, but I'll show you that if I was to click change, I could change the duration of that service. So right now we're saying that we're going to be available to meet on Thursdays and Fridays for 30 minutes, sometime between these days, but we're going to have to maybe name the service name more appropriately. So I'm going to just call it Meet to Discuss Budget. Fortunately for this example, we're only going to have one service to make it simple. So I'm going to click Update Service. and next. So who can book appointments? Anyone in my organization or the people in my organization. And create calendar. So you can see this is hard to see, but this actually would give you right away a copy to this link right here. But we still have some cleaning up to do. So we're just going to go ahead and click on Get Started. And let's take a look at how we might make this experience even better. So the first thing I want to do is I want to start with the service. Now, again, for this simple example, we're only going to have one service. So I'm going to click on Services and Meet to discuss budget. That seems appropriate. Again, you can click on Edit Service here to take a good look at it. And let's take a look at what we could do here. So definitely I want to add an online meeting for this particular purpose. That may not always be the case, but for my example, it is. There won't be a price. You can actually put free if you like. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at availability options. So this is where it gets a little bit interesting. It already knows that I said that I was not bookable during the other days other than Thursday and Friday. But I'm actually going to switch this up because I want to have a bookings calendar that's actually going to start at a certain date and end at a different date because this is a short-term project. Remember, these booking calendars aren't meant to replace Outlook in any way, but just provide an extra tool for special projects and special appointments where we want the person to, on the other end, take responsibility for booking their appointment. So I'm actually going to change general availability right here to not bookable. And I'm actually going to go into set a different availability for a date range. Okay, and here I want my particular calendar. If you recall from my scenario, I said I think we said the last 3 weeks in September. So I'm going to click here on the start date and let's take a look. Maybe, so we know we're starting on the Thursday, 1, 2, 3. So actually it'll be on the 15th here. And the end date will be around the 30th. So that gives us 3 weeks where people can book appointments on the Thursdays and Fridays based on the fact that I'm available and that they're available. So that is the start date here. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look here by clicking on the chevron, custom hours, recurring weekly. And I just want to make sure that it is set up the way that I would expect. So that's looking good. I'm saying for the weeks that occur during this time frame, during this time, if I'm available and the person booking the appointment is available, go ahead and allow them the option to book a 30-minute appointment. Now this here, we won't get into in this taping, but you could actually technically have 1 week would have certain availability, the next week would have a different availability, and so on. So we're going to go ahead and click Save Changes. We're honestly going to look at this and try to do a dummy booking before we release it anyway. So let's click Save Changes. Now, I want to take a look at this, Show All Assigned Staff. Okay, so at this time, nobody is assigned to this. So because this is my calendar only and my project, I want to assign myself so that automatically they will know that they'll be meeting with me. Now, in the event that there was 2 people doing the same service, that would be a possibility as well. But for the simplistic version of this taping, let's just make it 1. So I'm going to click on Edit Service, Assign Staff, and I'm going to click Myself. And the important thing is always to say Save Changes. Now, I don't want the person booking the appointment to get confused because I have to choose somebody because that might be something new to them. So I want to make it so that automatically it makes me the assigned person. So I'm going to go back to the Edit Service. So now again, this would be an example of something that when I toggle between the new versions, the one version and the other version, I find little tiny things that you can do in each of them. So I'm going to just say Save Changes there for a moment. I'm going to click here, go to the other version, and click on Edit Service in a moment. And when I scroll down, you'll see that allow customers to choose a specific person. So we don't assign the person that is available for that service. So I think that will fix that up. So let's go ahead and click Save. Okay, let's go back to the booking page now and check it out. So I want to start looking maybe at an open published page just to see how things are looking here. I'll take a little look here and open published page. So this will give you a sample or a little peek about how things are going to come together. So this will give you an example of what the person selecting their appointment time would see. So I already see one area of improvement here. Grab some time with us for an appointment. I'm going to make a mental note that that could maybe be a little bit better. So we'll come back to that. And you'll notice that, funny enough, you might expect that they would have the 15th and the 16th, 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and the 30th available for appointments for someone to choose. But I want you to keep in mind that this bookings calendar is looking at my calendar, and I have things booked on those days. And as well, if the person booking had something already booked for the 16th, then you would only come up with the 22nd. So that being said, you maybe want to be mindful for this type of tool that if you're going to be setting up time to discuss budget, that you actually leave your calendar free for the couple of days that that's going to occur, and then that will allow the tool to provide more appointments that would be available. So let's take a look. So on the 16th, these time slots are available. So that looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and pretending to be the person that's booking, I'm going to go ahead and say 1:30 and fill out the appropriate information here. Okay, when all is said and done, I'm just going to go ahead and click book. And then this is sort of like a dummy booking, so you want to go back and check your calendar as the administrator. So we'll just give that a moment to load. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my bookings page here. And now I'm going to go ahead and click on calendar. And if we're lucky, we'll see that there should be a booking there. So I'm going to make my way to September 16th. And you can see that there is a meeting booked for 1:30. So that test went very well. So let's go back to services and click on this pencil icon to edit it. And let's maybe put more appropriate text here under the description that will more accurately describe what is going to occur during this appointment. Okay, so I've gone ahead and updated that, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. Go back to the booking page, maybe open the published page, check it out, see if that change occurred. There we go, so that's perfect. We'll go back to bookings, and now what I'm going to do is maybe make this look a little bit more attractive. So I'm going to go here and click on this to add a logo. So I'm just going to upload a new logo. We'll just, for the purpose of training, just include a currency sign and save. And also for color theme too, I think what I'll do is click something that's a little bit close to our colors here. I think maybe I'll do this one. Let's check this one. I think this one's more appropriate. So the important thing is to always make sure that you are saving. So I'm actually going to save and publish an open published page. Okay, so this is coming together quite nicely. So let's see what else we might be able to do with it. Let's go back to bookings. Okay. Business information, just give it a double check. Double check the hours. Customer replies. So for some reason, if you wanted this to go somewhere else, possibly to admin or what have you, this is a possibility. Okay, so I think everything is looking good here. Services. Again, you want to go ahead and click on this edit. So Crystal is taking care of this. We'll keep this pretty simple. Again, check the hours. Looking pretty good. Okay, and then the booking page is here. So this will talk about the different services and what have you. And then the calendar is where you would go to visit to see how many appointments you have. So in an ideal scenario, you would start to see over those last 3 weeks of September, these populating with various appointments. So I'm going to go back home. Okay, and this would just be our start page. And everything is looking pretty good. So again, maybe what I would do is go back to my booking page, and I would copy the link to the calendar or the booking calendar, and I would send it to a colleague or two to go ahead and do a test. If all is working well, then you can go ahead and publish that, save and publish that calendar, and then provide it to the individuals that you want to be able to book. So there you have it, a quick introduction to Microsoft Bookings. Give it a try. Be sure to give it a test. Again, not meant to replace Outlook. It is meant to be a tool that you can use for a short, specific project where you want people to book their appointments themselves. This is Crystal McNeil from Talent Organization and Development, and I hope you enjoyed my introduction to Microsoft Bookings.